We've returned from the break to bring you the final round of SCS this season. This round, not this season. We've got a lot of SCS to go. It's Oxygen versus HK Rebels. Probably the biggest David versus Goliath story that you are going to see here, Mason.
Yeah, we thought that Parabellum S2 was going to be one, and S2 ended up upsetting them. Spoiler alert, but you've probably already watched that one. HK Rebels, definitely a very big underdog, but let's talk about Oxygen. Stage 3 NAL. The only major they didn't go to was this most recent one, Sweden. They had a rough start, starting 0-5 in the stage, but then they won 5 straight. So are they on a hot streak or a cold streak? Who knows? But this roster, full of stars, newers, most namely coming from SCS and from T3 straight to the league. Stage 3 MVP. I mean, there's not enough that you can say about him. A Rookie of the Year candidate for sure.
Yeah, he is that guy. And he comes from, I guess some could say, humble beginnings of T3, just kind of hopping over there. And while we're seeing what he's able to do, he is really the man in R6 right now, the main fragger for Oxygen, and he's probably going to get a lot of the spotlight tonight. As well, he looks to kind of take over Hong Kong Rebels, who don't really have much reputation compared to Oxygen. Massive amount of eyes, massive reputation that they get to defend tonight.
Well, HK Rebels, they're definitely got a tough one here. But like I said, I mean, Oxygen, arguably one of the favorite teams to go and take it. And their opponents tonight, HK Rebels, consisting of Burnt Turkey, Doug, Vipoa, Millies, and Rai. Some of these players I feel like I've seen in so many of these leagues. And some of these guys, kind of newer names coming on through. And, well, HK Rebels, a very good roster, very talented. They made it past a couple CL teams on the lower end, but still, it's something to say. They made it past some of the lower teams getting on into the qualifiers, but they've got a very tough opponent to start out.
Yeah, of course, they were an underdog in the qualifiers. They were an underdog today, and we talked about the roster, but we do want to focus on one person. We have that face behind the frags. It is Doug that we have an interview with.
My name is Doug, and I play for the HK Rebels. I think playing against PL teams won't be that bad. They don't really need the money. They're kind of just here to have fun. So their guard's gonna be down. We're gonna be able to make plays, get away with a lot of stupid things. CL teams, I'm not really worried about. We beat 2 CL teams to get into the league. It's not really a big problem for us. If we just play our game, it's just gonna. I think the only team that's gonna be a problem might be Oxygen. If they try, I'm not worried about anybody else.
Marble, Doug.
Garage shed.
Plenty.
We have main lobby edge.
Nice, good job, Doug.
Couches.
That's still low.
Lane car. One's on the board on the double walls.
Let's go.
Doug, you can literally just play any operator in the game. It's so ridiculous.
In qualifiers, my team could not attack. It was probably our biggest flaw. We're planning on fixing it by actually scrimming, which we really don't do now. We made the league with no scrims, so we're going to just get a little practice in. Once we get our attacks down, nobody's going to beat us. I would say Millies is my most determined and dedicated teammate. He's been playing this game for 7 years and has done absolutely nothing. So the fact that he actually made something's pretty good. He just does not give up. My warm-up routine is pretty simple. I get home from work, I play a death match, and then I play the game. Nothing special. I think my squad is very ready for CL. We beat 2 CL teams to get into the league. Right there should be enough proof that we can make and hang with CL players. I don't think we've ever been blown out by a team. We've had pretty close games. Once we get our issues out of the way, it's going to be a walk in the park.
Big window. Good kill.
Good save.
Good job, Doug. We're planning big window. And the boy Dougie!
I like to build cars. That's kind of all I do if I'm not playing the game. I like to drag race. That's what I do. I just drag race all the time. Teaming with Vipoa was the worst advice anyone ever gave me. That guy is not very good at the game. He kind of just there for laughs. He's there for like a mental and emotional support. That's pretty much it. My favorite song on game day is TikTok by Kesha. It gets the blood flowing, it gets the juices pumping, and it gets us ready to win.
Up in.
I could top main.
Can rotate. Breach.
Rotate and jet.
Nice,
Good job,
dog.
good
It's not you plant. He's going for the bomb plant.
Dead.
Case down, case down.
Or dead.
Asher
One
dead.
master, also master, middle master.
Oh my god! Oh my god, who are they picking? Oh my god!
Now that you know a little bit more about Doug, we're gonna go straight into the map veto, try to hop on in so we can close out the night in Light Rose. Where do you think we're going tonight? I mean, between these two rosters, I really don't know. I expect to see something a little bit more default. Both teams, obviously Oxygen being a pro team, they've got strats for everything. HK Rebels, where might they want to go? Maybe more structured or maybe a little bit more loose, and we're headed to bank.
Yeah, a little bit more open as well in some of these areas, like open area, for example. Could be called that square, maybe. But as we kind of start to head into this, I'm seeing a lot of green at the bottom of my screen, Mason. That's not very surprising.
Feels bad.
Considering what the heck we're going into. Oxygen, a Pro League Tier 1 team, and Hong Kong Rebels, a Tier 3 team that did get knocked out in that SFCL, I believe it was the quarterfinals.
Yeah, it was,
the lower
it was
bracket, but-
fairly early on. They actually lost to JJ's team, who we just watched play. I believe that's who knocked them out, at least out of the upper bracket. I can't remember the lower bracket.
It was Vipers.
But, you know, a pretty decent amount of people actually kind of believing in the HK Rebels. 69% for Oxygen, so a nice number for them, and 31% to the HK Rebels. So there is some hope here.
Yeah, a lot more belief than, what was it, 88-12 with Parallel. I know it feels like we're kind of picking on them, but that is the signifier of just how one-sided that was thought. And then you look at this, they might even be more one-sided because Oxygen is probably, if Aerial Rise Academy was a lot of favorites, this is probably the favoritist team for everybody. Oxygen is that signifier that people believe will go undefeated, could take the whole thing at that. So they really need to get this first match, and they got to kick it off with a strong start.
Well, I'll tell you what, Light Rose, a lot of odds on Oxygen. I mean, they play in Pro League every single match they play, right? It gets streamed. It's known. They're a known team. You watch them as much as possible. Few players, I'm sure, from the HK Rebels were at the Charlotte Major, able to watch Oxygen there. So you've got a lot of background knowledge on Oxygen. Oxygen, however, don't have as much for the HK Rebels. Who knows what they know about them? Did they prepare? How much preparing did they do? And what's going to happen in this matchup? HK Rebels, they've got some VODs on them, but more than likely, maybe Oxygen being a professional level team, preparing for bigger and better things, such as Invite and other things with which they are attending. Probably not too focused on a matchup like this. More than likely, they're going to save their resources, save their time, go get a little bit more depth in pocket for later on in the season and for SI.
I mean, yeah, they have that one, I don't know if you've heard of it, the Siege Invitational. It's like,
what is that?
A small little, I think it's a minor, what they call it.
Yeah,
it's
a
like
very
DreamHack level
small
thing.
event in Canada in February when it's extremely cold, and for some reason I chose to go because I'm going to be
too.
freezing, and you're going to be freezing, and it's going to suck and be cold, but it's going to be a very fun event, and Oxygen obviously will be attending. Maybe HK Rebels will make their way through SI quals and win or something like that. Who knows? Right? You never know. Any team can beat anyone on any day, and that could be the case. But here we are, Oxygen on the attack, the more favored side here on Bank, at least as of late. Attack usually tends to be a little bit more preferred, and the Rebels with an open area defense to start.
I'm just not really going towards that basement, not going up that second floor. They're going to this very open area, like I mentioned. But Oxygen, absolutely wasting no time. They are clearly knowing that Rebels don't have a good foothold on everything. A drone is going to spot a player as Newers is dead set on trying to take this engagement a minute into the round, not even a minute into the round, and might already see an engagement. It's going to be Vipoa versus Newers, but nobody wants to actually make the first move. There is going to be probably a Gone 6 that opens up this window, and Doug and Vipoa both dropped just like that, and it shows the synergy between Oxygen, why they are a pro league team, and Hong Kong Rebels have to find some way to come back despite having 2 players down.
An incredible showcase of teamwork. Yo, Gone 6 this window so I can shoot this guy through the window. Exactly what happens. Sweater able to get their first kill of the season here, and almost every single member of Oxygen has found a frag so far. A couple more yet to do so, but they're more support oriented. Burnt Turkey and Rai Rai, the last 2 players to be in this scenario for the clutch. Burnt Turkey taking a lot of damage and now left down to 1 HP. Dream to finish off the last 2 players for the Rebels, and Oxygen taking the first round.
All right, and this is might sounding bad from the first round, but another thing to talk about with Rebels is if inevitably they might lose, how many rounds will they take? Because even though they could lose, it could be a good signifier of how strong of a team they could be if they put up a decent amount of rounds up against this team. That is, if they are destined to lose, which they are not. And it was an unfortunate first round for them. Very, very one-sided for Oxygen, but very easily can fight your way back. Maybe choosing to go somewhere else will probably be the better choice. I think that basement will be a little bit more secure, especially because there are slightly less entrances for the attack to actually go through, so this could be something that actually benefits the Rebels in the end.
Well, Rebels not looking too great, at least off of that first initial round. 1 frag to go their way in the eyes of Burnt Turkey, but no one else lighting up the scoreboard just yet. Plenty of siege left to go, though, so there will be plenty of opportunity for anyone on the HK Rebels to go and strike down one of these professionals, but Oxygen, they're all in that team house. They probably got that synergy going on. I mean, you saw it, right? They can all probably look at their monitors and see, hey, where is this guy? Okay, perfect. I have an exact idea of where that is. And that's some of the benefits that teams like Oxygen are going to have. The HK Rebels probably don't have that luxury of your teammate sitting right next to you, living with you for the last few months and playing with them on a stage in professional league. And that's the nature of it. But that's the cool thing, too, is Oxygen's never played a team like HK Rebels, at least not in the public. Maybe in a scrim, maybe these 2 teams have met prior, but who knows? All it is a guessing game for both teams for what they're going to bring out. HK Rebels surely going to bring out their best. Oxygen, it's a question mark on what they might bring, but so far, very good start for them in this match.
I mean, it's not the radical entry that we saw previously with Newers basically seeing a person within the first 30 seconds. It's a lot more methodical this time from Oxygen. Millies is probably going to be the first player that everybody encounters. He's over by the stairs, but there is a player on this second floor that if Oxygen are not careful of, they could actually meet face to face. It is Doug, who backs off right back into CEO. He has been caught out by the sledge of Sweater, who seems intent on hunting this player down. Doug, no opportunity to fight right there as Sweater just nipping at the heels of the Legion, and Millies gets taken down. Oxygen are in the site. They are planting. Burnt Turkey is going to hop over. He is going to spot the player defusing, but I don't know if it's really going to mean anything in the end here, Mason, because all Rai, he's all alone, stuck in square. He has to stop the diffuser from getting planted, stop Oxygen all by his lonesome self. It would require a Herculean effort from this man.
On just 1 HP, it's more than likely not going to happen. Young talent versus some of the most experienced here to offer, but Fox A will end up closing out probably one of the most experienced players in this lobby, able to bring down Rai. So another round for Oxygen is a faster execute going on through. HK Rebels still struggling to find the scoreboard just across for any of the players in the kill category, and the rounds as well still not showing great, but Oxygen showing strong.
Yeah, they are not. I just realized. Did you see that? Everybody.
Everyone
I think
has
HK Rebels,
everyone has Oxygen.
Yeah, everybody
Yes.
had Oxygen.
I was gonna say that last round is that, yeah, every single team has like that operator card in the background changed to Oxygen. So Oxygen, obviously, right, their players are going to more than likely represent their organization when they're playing the game, whatever. That's all in their names and their tags. The Rebels, I've seen this before actually from them. They've usually done Team 1, if I remember correctly, back to like SFCL. I've seen them using Team 1 and other teams. I think W7M at one point was their card background. So some synergy, some friendly banter and actions here from the Rebels, but Oxygen got 2 rounds so far, so maybe that player card thing not too important. 3 minutes left as Vertical on the Amaru. An operator that's found more popularity, especially on Bank.
Yeah, Vertical not wasting any time, doing what Amaru does best and zipping inside the building 15 seconds. There isn't anybody inside of the second floor, but I mean, that isn't going to stop Oxygen, who are already gaining a large amount of map control. That is already a floor that HK Rebels have essentially given up within the first 30 seconds of a round. There was a Capcan trap. I don't know if Vertical saw it. He might be wanting to be very slow and sneaky, but with Newers by his side, it doesn't even matter if he shoots it or not, because he has a friend by his side that if he gets taken out, there's a refrag right around the corner.
Well, Newers has played in this tier of Siege before, so he knows exactly when to be checking for those Capcan traps around every single door. I'm sure that the Yada will be double checking their feet and making sure that they're all clear. Vipoa playing the same position here inside of Archives, but they're backed up deep. Different area rather than sitting behind the castle barricade. They'll sit deeper on through, and Newers looking to contest him yet again.
Already, it's kind of the same engagement, Doug. The default wasn't shot out, so this could be a huge swath of information, but Newers is just there. He doesn't lose these. He takes out Vipoa. Maybe the C4 from Doug could be a change, but it only does damage to Foxe as more members of the defense just continue to fall. Doug can't win these engagements. That's the one thing here, Mason, is that, and essentially, whenever there will be a quote-unquote 50-50, Oxygen, they just kind of weigh the scales. It's like an 80-20 here. Burnt Turkey adds another kill to his belt, but it's honestly just meaningless at this point.
It's tough for a team like the HK Rebels to be able to ego peek and challenge and be confident in their guns when they're being met with some of the best gunners in all of NAL. I mean, Newers, right, being an MVP, Vertical, an MVP, a roster of the stage, or whatever they had called it, and Sweater as well, a very good shooter, and Fox and Dream, there's no slouch in any of those players. And the Rebel side, well, they're newer guns, they're newer talents in retrospect, and they're not able to do what they do against most T3 teams. They're not able to be very aggressive in swing because Oxygen are going to win those fights. Newers at 5-0, no deaths. Fox 4-0, no deaths. So far, Oxygen, if you can't kill them, they're going to win rounds, and that's the biggest problem right now for HK Rebels.
All right, just throwing it out there. Do you think it's going to be a 7-0 on the table?
I would hope not. But the way that things have started out right now, Newers just looks unstoppable. The drone work is perfection from Oxygen. They, minus not shooting a default camera being about their biggest problem right now, I'd say it more than likely will be a 7-0. The Rebels just are struggling, but Bank does tend to be, again, faring more so to the attacker side, so we'll have to see what really ends up being played out.
Yeah, I mean, this is a really hard first match to get. You did make SCS. That's a huge signifier. But now you're kind of facing that reality of the other teams who are involved in this, some of the highest level of competition. And it is a hard match to win. HK Rebels still just kind of hanging back. The drone work from Oxygen really doing a lot of the work here as they just can rush on forward knowing that they have a lot of security in where they're heading because their drone work, like you said, is perfection. Foxy catches Burnt Turkey, almost doesn't do the lethal amount of damage, but it's only one. Actually, there goes Vipoa, and just it's easy as ever. It's like slicing butter at this point. It's a second nature for Oxygen as they just rush into the site and just really take care of the Rebels.
You see the HK Rebels just feeling pressured, feeling exposed, not very comfortable in their own skin, and Vipoa, no Cuba barrier in pocket just yet, still waiting on it to charge up so they can block off the rest of the angle made by Dream on the cancel repel. Many EE1Ds have gone out. Actually, all of them. Newers has no more in pocket, so the defenders will be free to run around as they would like throughout the rest of the round. Vipoa reconstructing the map, adding a little bit more protection as Dream is rotated away from the Kanto Repel, and Newers tasked with dealing with 2 players here on the Marble Stairs.
Yeah, we've actually seen a pause somewhat from Auction, and they've actually pumped the brakes despite everything just being so loud in these early rounds. They just kind of wait for HK Rebels to come to them. Vertical gets 2, and then Newers just finishes it off. It's easy as ever for Auction. They get 4 in a row, and well, if the last match was like an absolute, some could say, barn burner, long match, this one is probably the antithesis to that.
Exactly that. Oxygen making quick work of the HK Rebels. Foxay with a very aggressive play just to walk up the lobby stairs, go all the way on into the bomb site, ignore the holes that could have been and should have been held by the HK Rebels. Nothing there to alert them of Foxay's positioning all the way up there in lobby, and able to get a free kill, which really should have been a freebie for the HK Rebels if they were holding what they need to. But all the pressure being on them, maybe they're not doing everything. They're not crossing their T's and dotting their I's, and HK Rebels continuing to struggle here.
Wing basement, it doesn't honestly matter. I think at this point what site they go to, because Oxygen have played it 1,000 times. They know how to work around what HK Rebels are doing, because I mean, HK Rebels feel like they're not bringing anything too crazy to the table, and that's not, I mean, surprising. A lot of what can actually get you places in something like T3 is knowing the default plays and knowing that to perfection. But then when you get up to Oxygen, who have their, you know, own analysts and people who make strategies for them, you run into really a brick wall. So it's not really partly HK Rebels' fault. They're just kind of playing how they would. It's just Oxygen or that team.
Oxygen are a damn good roster, coming off of 5 straight wins from the NAL, and also have, well, it helps to have the MVP of the NAL on your team, and 2 of them at that for Oxygen being on their roster. They've got a very good amount of experience and a healthy amount at that. I'm sure they've scrimmed plenty of young teams, and the HK Rebels maybe not. But Oxygen right now just are the better team, and that's the matter of the fact. And this is what a lot of people expected. But the HK Rebels, they still got bite in them. They're still trying to fight. They still want to grab at least a couple rounds to satisfy them here. But Newers walking all the way through Garage. Again, the pressure just struggling. Players not doing their jobs. I still don't even know if they're aware of Newers' positioning. Vertical able to get one with the LMG on Capital. Doug with 1 for the Rebels, but Sweater with a response. Things again not looking great here for the Rebels.
Doug on that actually he has dropped down. I was gonna say on the first floor, but he's over to help. A wonderful shot by Millie's, taking out Sweater's head, and maybe this will be the change that HK Rebels need. It's probably the closest round that we have seen, but the plant is probably incoming for Auction. Newers is still over in Garage, still has not died, as somebody has actually walked up to that first floor. That is Doug, probably trying to get on that hatch just to provide coverage, as Millie's prepping that C4, is waiting to hear that diffuser go down. Newers takes some damage in the Garage, but here comes Doug. That C4 drops the diffuser. Down goes Vertical, but so does Millie's. It's a 1v1. It's the situation Doug wants to be in here. A time to really show his strength against the top talent in the country. He's got 60 seconds to work for. The diffuser exactly in his line of sight, and Vertical is a living drone. He knows where Doug is, and Doug, more importantly, isn't, and he can give that relationship to Newers. We got 45 seconds. Newers is calmly checking his corners. He knows that really it's about kills here. It's not getting that diffuser. Doug might have the crosshair placement, but he's playing this as calm as he can. We're getting oh so dangerously close to that gunfight. Doug being silent. He wins the 1v1, and HK Rebels find it, and Doug takes his advantage and does tactical crouching. It's his one moment of glory, Mason.
We saw him in the interview, and I'm sure he's excited and pop it off as ever. Doug, one of the most memorable players whenever I cast the HK Rebels due to his impact on the field and on the lobby. HK Rebels getting their first round finally. The Goyo Volcan, really big, the difference maker. And the Goyo overall, even though Doug was the one to clutch out the round, I want to highlight the C4 that Millie sent out, bringing down 2 members of the HK, or of Oxygen. other of Oxygen. Millies, not only with the one tap, but also throwing the C4, getting the plant denial, and lighting the fuse to the Goyo Vulcan canister, which ended up downing Vertical. It was really unfortunate that he's just standing a little bit too close to the fire, cooked to perfection, brought down to the ground, and bled out on the floor, leaving Newers in a 1v1. Perfect positioning here from Doug, and things end up going very well for the HK Rebels in that round.
All right, I'm glad that we got something from it. And it seemed like Doug just knew his placement. Newers clearly didn't have the information. So it's one for Rebels. They've notched one on the board. It's not going to be a 7-0, and they actually take the time out. So maybe just getting some more breathing room as they head up to that second floor. They've been here before, but it's really just been Oxygen in almost every other round. So there's not going to be too much changes that they're bringing to the board. It's really about how they count shit. And it's less about what they kind of have, because I've talked about how, you know, the default strategies and how they're playing that. They just need to react. I think that is the one thing. Am I wrong?
No, definitely. They definitely just need to be ready for whatever Oxygen's bringing, and they need to be expectant of aggressive plays. You saw Fox A walk up the spiral stairs of lobby and just walk on in, getting a free frag. They were able to get the refrag, sure, but things like that create holes in a defense. It really exposes the HK Rebels defense. Being a pro team, you've seen a lot of strategy. You know what a lot of teams bring, and when you see certain things, you're able to act on it. That's what experience really does, and that's what Oxygen has plenty of it, which is experience. They've been to 2 international events this year, and they've also been, well, I think they went to SI as well. So I think they've been to 3 international events, if I'm not wrong. So 3 international events, as well as SI coming up. So plenty of experience. Sweater, opening pick, falling down early.
And a good start for Rai. He's been quiet, but that's not surprising, as considering, you know, he's got a difficult opponent. We've talked about Oxygen a lot. I mean, we've kind of run it through the ringer here as HK Rebels. Now, I believe they are starting to adapt somewhat. That might be the first opening kill or real opening pick that they've been able to get without an immediate response from Oxygen. So we could see a real shift coming out. Newer spots ahead, but just cannot take it off. That would be the castle of Burnt Turkey, who just retreats back into the site. But the drone from Oxygen has just been the one thing that's really set them apart, as Newers just immediately answers right back, takes out Sweater's killer, avenges his death, and now just continues to track on. He may have 1 death, but more importantly, he's got 9 kills to his name in these 6 rounds. But right now, Rebels, they are really putting up a fight in these couple rounds. It's blow for blow between these 2 teams, but Rebels are surviving.
Burnt Turkey hops out the window, able to get 1, but refrag. That's the risk that you take when you jump out, but you're able to bring down Vertical. So effectively, 2 of the fraggers here for Oxygen have fallen. Newers, though, on the Lion, leading the charge at 9-1 overall on their kill-death ratio, and things looking up for the HK Rebels, but they've still got to hold on to the bomb site for another 60 seconds. Another player to take over the window rappel, and Newers trying to make their advance up this marble hallway, but will take a little bit of damage trying to use the deployable shield and this pixel angle off of the wall for some extra coverage, but it's not going to happen. Dreams crouch his way all the way onto the bomb site. Commando Pro all the way on in. Newers with a great shot on a Doug as the diffuser begins to go down, and 30 seconds left, but Vipoa brings down Newers, and things not looking great here for Oxygen. A swing here from Ace, though. Dream able to bring down Vipoa, so it may just happen, and it does. Dream able to find the last 2 defenders of the Rebels, and Oxygen take their 5th round.
It's unfortunate. If the SMG-11 spray had dropped that clay pigeon on the window, it could have been an entirely different round, but still, it's close. As Rebels now, the side swap, they go on the attack. Oxygen on the defense. Maybe this will be a welcome change, with Rebels potentially dictating the pace, but I'm also afraid that Oxygen are going to absolutely play balls to the wall. That you're going to see them just really spawn peeking main areas. You're going to see them playing in very atypical areas that Rebels won't expect. But, I mean, the adaptation that Rebels have been doing in recent rounds could be that one thing that will transfer over to the attack. Look at what they're bringing right now, Mason. A Glaz, a Zero, and a Maru. That is not default.
That is not. That's some madman, the coach for the Rebels, working up something in the background. Who knows? But never mind. We're going to see Ying and Ace and Thermite swamps. So a lot of hard breach to be brought out. A Buck as well. Vipoa being the only player to stick any operator here for the Rebels. Will that change? No, I don't think so. Yana's pretty meta right now, and those grenades are very important and vital to any take. But Rai and Burnt Turkey, double hard breach for the Rebels, trying to make Oxygen as uncomfortable in the bomb site as possible.
And then Ying, there isn't a Warden in play like there was in the last round, so HK Rebels, if they find themselves in the right situation, could get something out of it, but we'll have to see, because I mean, this is kind of what I'm talking about. Foxay playing in square as Smoke, Dream over in this open area, just probably proning, trying to catch somebody who may be coming from these blue stairs, somebody like Vipoa. But HK Rebels, they're doing exactly what Oxygen did the last time that Rebels tried to defend here. Vipoa entering from the square. There are bullets all around him, but Foxay is ready for the engagement, rips Vipoa's head off, and hungry for more as Rai could be the next target.
Wall to be popped. Ying Candela is going on through, but it's Dream on the dock with the P90 getting two, potentially a third. No, they cannot find it. Doug will continue to flashbang on through and about, but they get down from top square. Foxay yet to have been cleared out, and now Millie's the last player for Oxygen hanging around. Foxay to melee the barricade, tries to get aggressive with the shotgun, will not find the kill. Millie's aging out better in that one, but Millie is the last player here for HK Rebels. Oxygen look to seal themselves on a match point. I think they'll do just that. Millie's, though, aware of the presence of the player in lobby, but the recoil of the C8. C8, that's that gun. The C8, just a little bit too much. And minute and a half left, maybe to get another kill or two, but I just don't think it's going to happen. I think HK Rebels lose out and Oxygen go on a match point.
This might be another round where we've got about a minute kind of to chill, wait it out, because Millies will have to do a 1v3 up against Oxygen with a low amount of HP, diffuser not in his pocket, so he might just kind of head over to the site, see what the heck he can do, as he's kind of stealthily sneaking up. Spots one, but just that hard wall in between him and the enemy will be the one thing that just stops him from getting another kill. So far, he does have 4 kills to his name. Not completely horrible, as now he's getting actually close to that 1 KD. Is, well, Oxygen, they're kind of just waiting for the attack to come to them. Nothing else they can do, because they know the diffuser hasn't been picked up. They know really where Millie's is. It's just kind of wasting down that time, Mason.
Finally, Millies will fall. Sweater being very aggressive here in an open area, and why should he not? He still had Newers and Foxay, I believe, the last 2 other Oxygen defenders to hang out about and clean up his mess should he have fallen. But Oxygen still match point here against the HK Rebels. Lockers CCTV? No. CEO for Oxygen. They're going to go to CEO, try to close things out here against the HK Rebels, and move on to close out the first round of matches for SCS.
Yeah, this could be the final round unless we are going to see another Rebels play. I mean, something... Next season!
Oh, you just
we won't get that next season!
We'll call it a donation, of course, like the ironic, like the irony. Yes, irony, that's the word. Of it being Doc getting the team kill might be even 10 times better. Because
the harm assist.
The doctor can't even heal Sweater. You can't revive him. You can't bring him back to life. He's dead. I would have loved to have seen Dream pull out the stim pistol and shoot the ground with it. Just to taunt Sweater. Just be like, you're dead. I tried to pick you up. You just, no. So, Oxygen, they'll be starting the round with 1 less player, but the way that the narrative has been running so far, Light Rose, I don't think much is going to really come of it for the HK Rebels.
I mean, I like what Rebels are bringing to the plate. They got a glass. They got at least 6 smokes that they can use.
That's for sure.
They can really they can put Doug somewhere and just absolutely lock that area off.
There's 4 on the windows.
There's 4 on the... It's like we're playing Consulate.
It might be Consulate. This is like if you were to just take Consulate and just stretch it out and like unroll the map for Big tighter, since Bank is much wider and larger than Consulate, it's like if you were to stretch it out, roll it on out. That's the plan that the Rebels have. You have Millies here with the diffuser, so more than likely what you're gonna see is Vipoa smoke up a couple angles, Millies throw a smoke and some flashes in and try to get the angles vertical, bringing down Burnt Turkey, but Millies with the response brings down Newers, the top frag right now for Oxygen, but Foxy not too far behind. A little bit of damage to Dream and Foxy, but a stim will go through, and here comes the execute from HK Rebels.
Oh, the smoke absolutely working as intended. Dream goes down, but Foxy opens up a rotate and drops the diffuser. What was a wonderful play from HK Rebels, changes on a dime from an out-of-the-box play from Foxy, and now there's Red Ping's vertical is going to make sure that there isn't any more window play from HK Rebels. It was all there. I mean, everything was there. Doug tries to drop the skylight. I mean, he might have survived even if he hadn't been shot in the back, but Foxy was there. So now Rai and Vipoa have to pick up the pieces. They have to get inside the site, get that diffuser, kill the members of Oxygen, which are possible, but I don't know if they have the information that they need. Vipoa is going to peek. Rai actually does win out the engagement, so this is the spot that Rebels have needed. They've been in this place before. They actually have an extra man that they can utilize, and they get the victory, despite their strategy being a little atypical. They get it all together in the end, get another round on the board, and stay alive in this one.
You know what more than likely would have helped out Oxygen that round? A nice cozy sweater.
It is sweater season.
It's sweater season. It's nice and cold, and unfortunately Oxygen just not bringing their sweaters as Dream decided to put them down and say, no, you can't play this round. But HK Rebels, they find a second round, so hey, good for them. Things nearly fell apart though. It's kind of one of those moments of when the diffuser goes down on the bomb site. Your entire plan nearly works, but at the last second it's shut down, and you look like you're in a perfect position to win the post play. You've got 3 people on the windows. Your Ying has swung on in. You've basically got the round sealed and secure, but Fox A opening up that impact onto the janitor closet, able to spot the player planting the diffuser since the smoke was a little bit too high. That smoke was not at a lower level. It was like, I think it was a capta bolt. And so what happens with the capta bolts is wherever you shoot it, that's where it's going to go. So if you shoot it super high on a wall, trying to be safe, not peeking the window or something to get shot, well, that smoke doesn't cover the floor. It doesn't drop down like, you know, maybe you would expect smoke to do. I'm not too sure, but if it was a smoke grenade, it would have potentially covered the planter, and Foxy might not have gotten the sight line onto the man planting the diffuser. Instead, things didn't go too well for the Rebels, but they were to bounce back and recover, so hey, good things happen.
And they're still here. They're still fighting. And they've got something to say about it. Another opening kill, if it's here. I mean, they kind of got gifted the last one. But if they fight for it, they get an opening kill. That could be another opening that they've honestly been able to kind of spiral sometimes into a round victory in the 2 that they've been able to get. A lot of times that comes from getting early engagements, getting your kind of quick little punches in, and backing off without offering a refrag to your opponents. A drone is going to spot multiple players of Oxygen very off the site. It is a basement site, not an open area site, but nobody on Rebels really has the will to actually act off of it because, I mean, they're kind of spread around the map. They're not really too connected with each other. It's going to take a little bit to actually sync up. And, well, Vipoa now is trying to scare away these Oxygen players from this staff open area and actually try to center them inside of the site. But unfortunately, he's not going to be able to save his friend Burnt Turkey, as there are no more lion charges that can be used because he's in the grave.
The Rebels can open up just about anything they want. They've got hard breach gadget canisters in the pockets of both Vipoa and Millies, as well as Rai, who obviously your main job as a Habana is to hard breach. A burn to go through, and they'll actually just walk on through. Dream not expecting the aggressive spring. Rai able to take down vertical, so HK Rebels in the driver's seat of this round. Wall will get open on up into server, so that seems to be the primary entry and avenue on into the bombs. With the hatch being reinforced means Foxy won't be able to get an angle there onto anyone trying to plant the diffuser there against that wall, but Newers plenty of Kiba barriers up to prevent entry for the HK Rebels on the bomb site. Sweater will tap away at Vipoa, eventually landing the headshot. Doug trying to land a shot through the wall, and Foxy does so, able to bring him down. So HK Rebels again taking the man advantage here. 60 seconds left to get some sort of plant down. Rai still aboard, and the hatches being cracked on open.
And they've got time to use as well. There is going to be a keeper barrier that will be able to cover. That hatch is probably going to be broken open, but time, if it just can be slowly dripped away from the attack, that's really all it takes. There is going to be a drop on the hatch, but Newers is ready for that engagement. And now Diffuser is inside of the site, so Millie's either has to drop this hatch or rotate, and there's really not enough time to do the latter. So Doug has to make an entry inside of the site, find a kill, get the Diffuser, playing it down. There are so many steps for Rebels to do, and they actually have to activate it now. Newers is going to take out the one remaining player. Sweater gets the other, so Oxygen takes a couple more rounds than maybe they would have liked, but they do finish out the match 7-2.
Oxygen, it was a very expected result, as I think the entire community expected Oxygen to be able to win this matchup. One of the favorites, of course, to take it all the way. But the HK Rebels putting up a pretty good fight. I mean, 7-2, you're kind of newer into this scene. A lot of these players really haven't been at this level before, and certainly there's been no pro teams that they've been playing against in live action matches. And here we are, 7-2. You got a couple rounds to say for your name. Sure, Sweater was dead in one of them, and the other was a clutch from Doug, but hey, things happen for a reason. HK Rebels will move down to 0-1. Oxygen moving on 1-0.
Yeah, and I think some good individual plays as well. I mean, Burnt Turkey on the side of HK Rebels definitely showed up in certain areas, especially in the early game, but it really felt like Oxygen was kind of taking a leisurely stroll through Bank, picking up rounds left and right. You saw a couple members of HK Rebels pick up a couple here and there, but overall, it was still very plainly a one-sided affair.
Well, definitely. It was very one-sided. Oxygen just were the better team. They were winning their gunfights. Newers, namely, being one of those players to win so many of their gunfights. It just looked like it was very easy for Oxygen, but HK Rebels being one of those lower tier teams, you expect something like that. And I hate to harp on the HK Rebels because they made it here, and that is good enough. I mean, that it's already a feat of its own, and you're going to play against top-level talent like this. We hope to see them continue to stride and maybe be a little bit better in some of their other upcoming matches that they'll have. But Oxygen, they're also going to get much tougher opponents, including maybe some friends of theirs from the NAL.
Yeah, but HK Rebels, they get to face some talent, but there's like a small... I don't think because of our scheduling that they're going to face a team like Aerial Rise Academy, because I believe it's partly based on map differential. So maybe there's a small chance they play Parabellum.
There's a lot of a chance that they play Parabellum.
Imagine you come into SCS, you play one Pro League team, and you lose by a lot, only to go up against another Pro League team. Just a bad roll of the die, I guess.
They can thank Reverse for that one.
Yeah.
I think so. But you know what? The HK Rebels, hey, they had a hard-fought game, and Oxygen, they looked better. That's it. I mean, again, Newers, MVP of Stage 3, 12-3. All of the entry kills going in favor for Oxygen, except for one, which was, I believe, the spawn peak or whatever happened between Rai and Sweater earlier on. I guess you can technically count an opening kill as well for Dream. I think he should have one on the board considering he brought down Sweater, but we don't count that in stats. That makes me sad. Regardless, no objective play for either teams. The bomb never going down nearly, but just barely getting saved in one of those rounds by Fox A. All of Oxygen looking very positive, and on the other side, HK Rebels not looking just as so.
Yeah, so it's just kind of written on the wall right here. And so with Oxygen kind of wrapping it up against HK Rebels, we do have another interview, and I think you get the honor of kind of talking to some Pro League. If you've had some burning questions, Mason, that you've wanted to ask Oxygen, I guess now would be...
I guess so. Well, here he is, the man of the hour, Fox A.
Oh. Okay, too late. It was too early. We exposed him.
We've got a technical issue going on
Okay.
real quick. So we're going back here. I think we got to make sure that Fox's mic is working and ready to go. So we'll just wait for maybe a few more seconds and hopefully he'll get back on here. But Fox, well, that'll be a cool one to interview with. He thinks that my forehead isn't that big. We had an interaction on Twitter a while ago. He posted like a forehead tier list, and we were
nice
talking
of him.
about forehead size. And so I sent a picture. I said I have to be S tier. Like I win. I mean, look at this thing. It is just, it's there. Okay, like you can't hide from the fact it's there. It's out there. Caliber Jacobs signed it at Invite. Was there for that? That was,
But I was
or
there,
not
I
at
saw
Invite,
it.
not at Charlotte. Yeah, you
Charlotte.
saw. Everyone thought he was proposing at first. That was the funniest part. Is like everyone saw him on one knee and thought that he was proposing to me because we were doing a bid or whatever, and then they saw the marker. Unfortunately, it was like silver though, so you could see too much. But again, very expected result. Kind of focusing back on a topic, as we love to get off topic here, but it looked well for them. We're hoping that these technical issues come on back. Hopefully, Fox can hear us, and maybe he'll be able to do so. As I think we've made our way in. Fox, can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you guys.
All right, cool. Well, you guys winning your first match of SCS. Just a couple questions, close it out before I let you go. So here we are. You guys were very well favored to win out this matchup. I mean, you guys are a pro league team coming off of maybe not your best stage of NAL, but you have the MVP of Newers, and you guys came off of 5 straight wins to close it out. This kind of being a trap game for you guys being avoided now. What's your favorite part of being an SCS, getting to play against different teams, different competitors that you don't typically see?
It's always fun to play against new people who I guess don't have your habits down and you don't have their habits down. You get to try a lot of interesting things and different things. Some would even say it's almost like an easier version of playing against international teams because you don't really know what these guys are doing and stuff. So I don't know, prepares you to just be very adaptive, I'd say.
I definitely think it's a good thing to get more play under your belt. It never hurts to get more practice, and especially against different players, especially a team like the HK Rebels. They're a very aggressive team. They like to peak and challenge, but you've never really come up against a team of your guys' gun skill caliber. You guys obviously fry just about anyone that goes on into the lobby. So being one of the favorite teams in SCS, to win, you guys obviously attended 2 majors. How do you guys think you're going to close out SCS? Like, do you guys think you take this whole thing? Do you think you take the bag?
I mean, I think we definitely have a good shot at it, considering, we're a pro team. We should, make it pretty far. But for us, it's just, we're making sure that we're able to try some new things and work on our teamwork. So we're not really like looking at it as like, oh, we already won. You can't underestimate anybody. So I mean, I think we'll do pretty good.
Earlier.
Yeah,
Parabellum
exactly.
learned that earlier. So, well, that's great. I mean, it's cool to see new things be tried. Definitely the playground and be shown. We saw good teamwork between you guys earlier on. I'm not sure who was playing the line, but Newer Z paying to Castle Barricade. Barricade was opened up. Newer is able to get a freebie, and so that's the really cool benefit to you guys being able to do things like that. One kind of last question, just about some of the rounds that you guys didn't come out with. What went wrong in some of those rounds? There were some really close ones. The one notably where you were able to impact the wall, stop the diffuser from going down, but just couldn't quite close it out. That one doesn't count as much in my book because Sweater was taken off the board by Dream. What happened there, by the way? What happened? Did Dream just think he was in the next season?
I don't know. I feel like Dream's like really like getting really comfortable recently. He's like kind of just, he's becoming like his own independent force, talking back and team killing and stuff. It's just you would never expect it of a Dream, but I don't know, the rounds that we lost, I wouldn't really say anything went it wasn't anything like that we did wrong, I guess, besides other than the fact that we would get confident and just not show any respect, and then do something aggressive and then die, or just be like, who needs the strat, let's just peek this because we're better, and then die, and then it's kind of like a wake-up call, like you lose the round and you just got to snap in it next round.
Definitely gotta focus. I mean, everyone kind of catches themselves in there. You're feeling really confident. You're like, I'm better than these guys. I'm gonna go peek, and then you get smoked, and then it's like, okay, So, well, with that being said, any last things you want to say to the audience, to the people watching, fans of Oxos, to shout out? Floor is yours, my friend.
I mean, everyone's supporting SCS. I mean, shout out to you guys. Even if we weren't doing it, I think it's a great upcoming league to be able to watch, new players and players that might not even be in Challenger League, like the team that we played today. Support the rest of the games as well. And nice jersey in the back, by the way. I feel like I have to mention that.
I know, yeah, I know. Well, you and you posted a little while ago the tier list, the forehead tier list, and I was the one that was like, I've got the unmatched. I'm the S tier guy, so I still take the crown on that. I'm still king forehead. I still own all that. But hey, it's been fun. It was a fun night. But that concludes week 1. We'll find out who you guys play in just a little bit. We're still kind of tallying the numbers, figuring out what teams will go up next. So you'll find that out. But thanks for stopping, having a chat for a few minutes, and go celebrate. Have a good night. Go play ranked FPL, whatever you might be out to. But thanks for playing. A lot of fun.
Thank you.
All right, wrapping it up for the night. Nice little interview clips. You get to engage with the jersey that you have in the back.
I know, really convenient. And I bought it for Charlotte, and I didn't even get it in time for Charlotte. Like, that was the worst part about it.
Oh, how convenient.
Right, I know. Convenient. Well, it's been up there all. No.
I know, I know.
Don't you pull me on that? No. Last time I checked, my pro league loss prediction was right. Okay.
Okay. All right. You didn't predict all of them, so
no,
take it easy there.
Definitely
you didn't predict
not.
Wichita Wolves.
Definitely not. You didn't either.
I mean, I didn't either, but then again, I think one person predicted some of the matches tonight. Wichita Wolves, an amazing upset. Parabellum goes down to stay safe. Some usuals, some unusuals tonight, but SES, that's the first round. I mean, amazing start. I think you had some plays that definitely could go in some clips. You had some matches that definitely should go on some resumes, and I think we're building the schedule for next week. I don't know if we're going to have it ready.
It's ready.
We do
Little
have it ready,
my
yes.
ear said, so, I mean, check this out. This is tomorrow. This is tomorrow. So tomorrow, kicking things off, Aerial Arise, OXG. Reality, or actually, I don't know if we know exactly who's playing when. We just know that these are the matchups. So for the rest of the week, you have Aerial Rise versus OXG, Reality TV versus Astralis,
Banger,
Luminosity versus Wichita. That's going to be a really good one. S2 versus Vipers, also going to be a really good one. Those two matches at the BO1s, both of the 1-0 teams, those are two to go look for. On the other hand, the loser teams, Investigation File versus 6 Karma, Lycus Empire versus Aerial Arise Academy. What is that? Collegiate Connoisseurs versus Parabellum. So poor them. They're actually the ones to take the draw and go ahead and take Parabellum after their loss to Vipers early on today. And the HK Rebels, well, they get something fun. They go ahead and get... What logo is that? Why am I losing out?
I mean, you've got to... Which one?
Which logo is that? That last one, the star. I cannot remember.
EQ.
That's EQ. Okay, so that'll be a good match. AQ3 and HK Rebels. I
like
one of those teams will get a good win out of that. So very cool.
But you can see the schedule ahead. We don't have any Pro League matchups yet. You could be next week with if potentially Oxygen and Astralis scrape it out, but they're going to have to play up against some good teams. Reality TV Astralis might be mine to watch. I want to see how the new roster of Reality TV kind of scrapes it out, but get a good look at it. You're not going to really have to wait long for it because it's all coming tomorrow and Friday.
Yeah, I'm really excited. There's going to be some awesome matches tomorrow, kicking things off. Hopefully, scheduling doesn't go too crazy and we get as many of these teams in full force. That's the one unfortunate thing, is that we don't, some teams might not be ready and prepared to play, but hopefully we get everyone playing as much as possible. Tomorrow and Friday, it's going to be a lot of fun. We had some awesome matches throughout these first 2 days, and that's something to come here for SCS. You've seen pro teams now playing against some of these lower tier teams, and you've also seen upsets already. Wichita Wolves being mainly one of those to go through. So go take to Twitter, go take to socials, live up the hype for SCS. We've got more coming tomorrow your way. Light Rose, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thanks to everyone in the background of SCS for working on us with this project and allowing us to take the floor. But that's going to be it for us for tonight. We're going to close it out, leave the things tomorrow, and See y'all then. There we go.